Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I'm your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
We got Demon Slayer to talk about, man.
We do. And if anyone is paying attention, no, we have not talked about it previously on the channel. Will we refer to the previous seasons? I don't know, probably. Anyway, first impressions. Joe, you go first. You enjoy the previous ones. I tolerate the previous ones. Impressions for season 3/4, whatever the hell this thing is. Go.
I really liked it. It looks very nice. There's some cool fights. Cried about Morichiro, my man. Got Miss Kanroji. Freaking when Tanjiro gets the goddamn Nezuko blood on his sword and he does like the fucking, I don't even know what it was called, but that shit was crazy. And Nezuko, I mean, alright, I got mixed feelings, but you can talk about that too. But I liked it. I think I enjoyed it every episode. It starts off a little slow, but I thought it was good. Is it the best one? No, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a sentiment that a lot of people seem to be feeling. This season seems to be the weakest since season 1. I also feel that way, and that's not great considering that I didn't love this series to begin with. But I will start off with one positive. They get, hang on, I gotta remember his name, Lightning Bolt Boy. You got Tanjiro, you got Nezuko, you got Boarhead guy, whose name I also don't remember. And then you've got... This is awful. What's his name?
I'm trying to remember it too.
God damn it, Joe.
Zenitsu.
Thank you.
I didn't look it up. I was looking it up, but it came to me anyways. Yeah, my boy Zenitsu.
They get rid of him immediately. They're just like, he's on another mission. It's fine. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I do like the continuity of the arcs where it's just, this one starts where, like, right where Entertainment District ended. Yeah. So that's cool. The whole setup for this season, going in, or this arc, they're going to be used interchangeably, it doesn't matter. Pretty cool. I like the idea of there being, like, a swordsmith village where it's hidden off somewhere else, and they're just like, alright, you're not allowed to know what this thing is, so we gotta plug up your nose, we gotta cover your eyes, we gotta cover your everything. You're not allowed to know. You're gonna get juggled between 45 different people to bring you to this place so you can never find it. That's pretty cool. This show has no right looking this good, dude. It looks so good.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I told you. I'm like, yeah, first episode was interesting. I'm like, but it looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
Opening scene in the Muzan's palace. Holy fuck.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot that was, like, part of... This is something that I have a problem with the show, where it's just, like, it doesn't intertwine anything very well. It just has hard breaks where it's like, here's this storyline, and then a hard cut to this other storyline, and then you don't see anything about it for the entire rest of the arc.
True. I also think with you binging it and I watching it weekly, totally different experience.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Yeah, the way it structures its story, and we're not going to go chronologically through this whole thing, we're just going to be bouncing around to a bunch of random stuff here, so bear with us. But again, beginning, you're dealing with, like, your main characters, your Tanjiro's, your Butterfly Girl, your Nezuko's, blah, 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 blah. And then you're also dealing with hard cut to the palace, where it's Muzan, and it's all of his, the 12 Kizuki, which are not the 12 Court Guard, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he's just dealing with all those, all those demon boys and girls. It looks so good, but again, it's so weird to me how they're just like, all right, this, and now this, and then we don't see it the entire time. It's crucial context to get you to be like, okay, so the pot guy and the crybaby are going to be going off to do something. I don't remember, why did they go to the swordsmith village?
Up until that point that the location was hidden, they had just found out what it was. And Muzan's freaking out because it's been like the first time in like hundreds of years that one of the 12 Kizuki has died. So he's like, all right, we need to do a blow to the humans or the demon slayers, and if we destroy the swordsmith's village, they won't have anything to fight against us. And so he sent those two because somebody had acquired the information.
Right.
Pretty boy guy, the one demon that doesn't get brought up after episode 1. He's like really annoying.
Yes, that guy. He's like upper 2 or something like that, right?
Yeah. It's the third guy like keeps hitting his head off,
smacking his head off with his arm.
Yeah, or like his jaw or whatever.
Yeah, he can't stand his shit. And then the number 1 ranked Kizuki guy. I mean,
Yeah, he looks interesting.
also very clearly, I mean, visually very clearly, he looks like some ancestor of like Tanjiro or something like that.
Mhm.
Or at least he's a part of like a family or clan that's related to Tanjiro.
It also looks like, I'm not sure if you noticed, I mean, Morichiro points it out about his dad having the same eyes as Tanjiro, but even his dad looks a little like Tanjiro. With,
Yeah.
like, the hair and everything.
But I think that's more so just because the art style of this show, it's kind of limited when it comes to
Yeah. No.
humans.
No, I 100% agree with that.
like they all. I can't tell unless it's
I will say, look. The 12 Kizuki look, or not the 12 Kizuki. Actually, yeah, the 12 Kizuki and the 12 Demon
Hashira?
Slayer Corps. Yeah, the Hashira.
yeah.
I think they look fucking cool. I think the
Yes.
designs are kind of sick. I think that's a good job. But I get what you're saying, where it's like, oh my god, it's like the clan ad people. You know what I'm talking about? Where they
Oh
all say
yes,
like
yeah. I can't tell unless it's pink green hair Hashira. What's her name?
Miss Conroji.
Miss Conroji. I can tell her apart because of her hair, like immediately, and also
the hair.
obviously her costuming. Every other woman, but there's a point in this, like at the final episode, where
Yes.
Tanjiro
Two.
sees Nezuko as like human again, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, is that Nezuko?
Yeah,
is
no.
that- I
I'm
honestly
like, wait,
can't
is this
tell.
the mom?
I
I
yeah.
get it.
Is this the
I get it,
mom?
they're
Is this one of your
siblings.
sisters? I have no idea. I can't fucking tell, Joe.
I get that. And even when the two maids come in for Muzan at the very end,
Oh yeah,
those
little
two
boy.
maids look fucking identical.
Oh yeah.
But the fight scenes, that shit go hard.
Fight scenes go pretty hard. I'm gonna be honest, there wasn't a single fight scene in this that made me like jaw drop, and I don't know if it's because I've just been wowed so much from the previous ones, because like, you know, you have episode, I think it's 19 in season 1, where he cuts off the Spider Boy's head, that like blew it all up, and it was like, whoa, this is cool. And then you have season 2, which is just insane because or arc 2. I'm doing it again. You have the one where Flame Hashira is fighting Vest Boy, the Vest Devil. I'm calling him the Vest Devil. I don't care what he is.
Tattoo boy.
Yeah, the tattoo guy. It's the third ranked demon boy.
I like him. He's one of my favorites. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the whole show.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's getting the most development so far out of all the demons that we've seen. So that not surprising. But their fight, spectacular. Like visually, thematically, emotionally, it was really good. For all my gripes with the fight in the entertainment district with Ninja, Sonic, Hashira Boy, and
yeah.
their guys, because it's like it goes on for fucking ever. It escalates perfectly as far as like the visuals and insanity of it go. It's like by far and away the best fight in the entire
your
show.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. This, you're fighting against what turns out to be like a guy who can split himself into different emotions, and then he gets like younger, and each of them have like a different ability or whatever. And then he ends up just combining like Dragon Ball fusioning himself into an even younger body, and then he's got to fight these like weird dragony things, and you're like, okay. He has by far the more interesting looking ability where you have to fight like the wooden dragons, and you see surprisingly little of them. It's not
I
a
wish
small
I
amount,
saw.
but
Yeah. They really, that last episode, I wish we saw more of Miss Conroji fighting him.
yes.
All we see is the start and then the very end. Like, you see none of the in between, and I get why they did it. They really wanted to hit the point of, you know, spend some time with our girl Nezuko. We'll get to it, Joe. Don't worry. But I wanted to see Miss Conroji fight. He's cute. He's cool.
Yeah, give her more screen time. I just like to see what she can do. Like, I feel like we got way more screen time when it came to Sonic Boy.
Ichiro.
Oh yeah, and even him. I honestly forgot that he was in this. Good God.
Hey, that
he-
backstory had me tearing up, boy.
That backstory did nothing for me. Every time,
It's because
this-
you goddamn have a heart of stone, you freaking geezer.
yeah, Morichiro, like, it feeds into the big problem that I have with this show, where it's just like it builds the momentum, and then it hard cuts to be like, okay, now we're going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes in the past giving you context for this character. You know what it reminds me of, Joe? And you're not going to understand this
Oh, no.
because you never ended up watching it, even though you picked it, and I watched the entire thing.
Oh no.
It reminds me of
Oh,
Records of
no.
Ragnarok, Joe.
Oh
That
no!
god awful
You
mistake
did not just do
of
that.
anime, because this is exactly what that show would do.
The
It would introduce.
disrespect.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it. I'm coming in. I got my fighting gloves on, Joe. I'm taped up. I'm ready to go. It did the same. It did the
You
same
really compared Demon Slayer
to Records of
to
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Yes, I'm doing it right now. Listen.
God.
It introduces the two fighting characters. It's like, here is God, like literal Christian God. And then here is Adam from Adam and Eve. And it's like, and now these characters are gonna beat the crap out of each other. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess so. And then they just start getting into some cool action. And by cool action, I mean like they might move a little bit, because most of those fight scenes are just still images that shake a lot. But then it's like, oh, I might be getting a little bit invested. And then it's hard cut for the rest of the episode. It's like the next half of the episode is just, oh, here's the backstory for this character a little bit. And you're like, what? You couldn't have like woven this in a little bit better? You're just gonna like A plot, B plot. It's, I don't know. This show does the same thing with God, I can't do
Tokido, all right? Tokido. That's his other
Tokido.
name.
Yeah, I'll just stick with that for right now.
Is his sauce of Marichiro.
Yeah. So for him, and then of course he's just a friggin' asshat in the beginning of the season, because he's like, I'm gonna fight this robot, which is clearly based on the guy who might be Tanjiro's ancestor and is the first Kizuki.
That was a little weird, right? That was a little strange.
Clearly
I didn't get what was going on there.
Well, clearly he's some great, strong character from the past, because there's the connection between, he has like the 6 arms. And it's like, why do you have 6 arms? Or because he like fought like he had like 6 arms. Like that's you had to build it like that, so it was like equivalent to his actual skill. And then the Kizuki guy has 6 eyes, so it's like, okay, so very strong connection there as well, aside from the fact that it looked exactly friggin' like him. And then it turns out inside of this robot, which also I guess we have robots in this universe now. I guess that makes sense. There's also a city. Yeah, like there's a city that they go to in the first season, and it's like, okay, I guess we have electricity, and it's like you also have this robot, but this robot is like from 100 years ago. It's like, what? Okay, whatever. And there's a sword inside of it, and you're like, oh, and it's like this legendary thing that they introduced 2 episodes ago, the concept of, or maybe it was even the episode prior. I don't know. I'm sounding like I'm being real stingy here. I'm only being real stingy here because it baffles me how a production of this insane quality can have such shit storytelling. Like, and it's not even...
Wow. Joe is just fucking going at this. Go ahead.
It makes me mad, Joe. Okay, I'm just gonna fucking... You're making me stand up. I unplugged my headphones. I can't hear you right now. Hang on a sec. I gotta fucking put this thing back in. Alright, there we go. Now I can hear you. Anyway, I'm standing now. I'm gonna hold the friggin' microphone too. This show is beautiful. This show looks incredible. Every scene, there are characters moving, there was spectacular lighting, there was wonderful composition. Character designs, aside from the faces, because they all pretty much look the same. Great. Everyone, you can tell distinctly from the clothes they wear, from the sword they wield, from the hairstyle they have. Mwah! Visually, very nice, very good. Again, except for the human faces, but again, we'll just push this aside for right now. The storytelling, pretty generic, you know. It's very similar to some things that we've had in the past. Not saying it's a bad thing. We both love Jujutsu Kaisen, and that's just every other shonen put into a blender, and you take all the filler out. It's like you put it in a centrifuge. You're like, oh, look, there's all the fats. Get them out of there. No. Jujutsu Kaisen, lean. This show, also very lean. 25 episode first season, blew up. They're like, you know what? We're gonna do our own thing here. Next season, it's like, I don't know, 9 episodes. Next season, 11 episodes. This season, 11 episodes. So it's like, okay, you're doing your own thing. You're very cool. You're very hip. I get it. Awesome. Could you do a little better in the writing department, please? Because it's just not there. And I understand that's not the writers of the show's fault. Like, you can only do so much with the material that you're given. And I don't think anyone ever expected Demon Slayer, this manga, to blow up as much as it has. Anyway, I want to like this show, Joe, is what I'm getting at. Because again, all the aforementioned aspects of it, fantastic. I love it. I just really wish it had a more compelling story. And maybe I am crotchety. maybe I am too old for this at this point, you know? Maybe it's just like I've moved on past this type of thing. But I don't know. And you know, I don't know. The microphone's back down now. I don't know what I want with this show anymore. And I don't know, like, if it's... Why is this becoming a therapy session, by the way? I don't know if it's, like, it's just not for me, because I feel like it's just not for me, but at the same time, it's really cool in some aspects, and I'm like, man, this sucks.
Just ain't Bunny Girl, is it, Joe?
No, it just ain't Bunny Girl. God, could you imagine if it had that quality of writing? There would be no Zenitsus. It would just be like, no one is that insane. Everyone is totally fine and normal. And like everyone talks about their problems.
Look, Joe, I get it. But I think you have to go into this show realizing our age. Now, Joe, we're the old generation. This is going to be the younger generation's equivalent to Naruto. When we were watching Naruto when we were younger, I thought that shit was crazy. I thought it was awesome. Hell, I mean, Bleach, I thought was the coolest thing in the whole world. I don't know, the people who grew up with anime in the 90s probably look at Bleach as cringy or Naruto as cringy or whatever. Now that's us with Demon Slayer, right? So I go into it just being like, look, I really like watching something new. I like watching something that has some hype around it, a little conversation about it, some breakdowns, and I know nothing about Demon Slayer. I really like that. So going into this, I was like, look, every week, this is so cool. On a Sunday, I get to watch a new episode of a cartoon I really like, an anime I really like, and it looks badass. Now, the story, yes, it is so simple. It is the simplest thing in the whole damn world. But, like, I don't know, man. It's good meat and potatoes, man. You sit down on a nice Sunday and you watch some Demon Slayer. What's better than that? I get the opinion. I get it. All right, but can we talk about cool things we liked?
Yeah, we can talk about cool things that we liked, because there are. I'm trying to count in my head how many there are. Hang on, I'm trying to get past one.
Oh my god!
No, I'm being serious here.
Okay, look, I'll tell you my favorite. Let's talk about Nezuko. How about that?
Okay.
Let's focus on that because that is by far what the whole point of this season was Nezuko, if we're being honest. The whole reason this season happened, or really like big point that probably like the manga readers knew were coming from this season was people are going to find out about the whole Nezuko thing, and that's going to be the big, you know, story changing reveal or whatever. Not
right.
Story changing, but like the big info. And let me tell you, I wanted her to die.
Yeah.
I wanted her to die so bad. I'm like, please do it. That would be so fucking cool. This would be like a legendary moment that like I would hear about for the next 10 years. And you didn't do it. I get it. You tried to redeem yourself a little bit with not doing it with the whole Muzan thing of like, oh, now this is going to be the storyline. Like now finally Muzan has the demon that can, you know, withstand the sun. Okay, I see what you're doing there, but it would have been fucking sick if you killed her and Tanjiro lost his fucking mind and just became like a goddamn like work machine and just started going crazy on these demons. Can you imagine that, Joe?
I find it very funny that you said, okay, let's find something positive, and then we start with this, because this is this is by far my least favorite thing about the entire season.
Oh man.
Like
the opening was really good. That opening song went hard.
Hey,
yo, fucking tough.
Okay, something we both like.
That was a good ass song.
Opening was, dude, the part where the female and the male vocalizer, like they I just smacked the microphone. The part where they harmonize and like the music cuts out and then it comes back in for like the final bit of it. Oh, God, it hits so hard. You already know, if you're watching this, you know Demon Slayer.
It was really fucking good. That was
really good.
I was like, that was my favorite part of watching the show.
Yeah.
Just the fucking the hitting of the goddamn steel and the drums start off and then the guitar comes in. Oh God, so good.
Really, really good. Now let's get back to the shit. Final episode. Okay, so you have the setup where it's like, all right, the emotion demon guy, he's
It's so funny thinking about it. the headless guy slowly running.
This is perfectly normal. But he's chasing after headless demon emotion man is chasing after some other people, some swordsmith village guys. Tanjiro is trying to go after him, but then he realizes, oh crap, the sun is coming up and Nezuko's right out in the open. And he's like, uh-oh. And so he runs over to her and he starts to try and shield her from the sun because the sun, it's up now and it's burning her. And you're just like, okay, so what's Tanjiro gonna do here? And then they proceed to have, and Joe, this is why it really stings for me, because they proceed to have one of my favorite scenes in the entire show, where Tanjiro has a crisis, like an absolute mental crisis here, because he's trying to figure out. Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. It's either he leaves Nezuko in the sunlight, to which, as he understands, she will burn up forever, and his entire reason for doing literally any of this, like, remember, the entire reason he became part of the Demon Slayer Corps was to try and find a cure for his sister Nezuko. That is his entire goal. And then he also, because he's such a sweet boy, he wants to protect other people. That's the other reason, like, once he became a member of the Demon Slayer Corps, it's like, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to protect people, like any good shonen protagonist, except maybe Denji, but he's an outlier. So he doesn't know what to do. And the song setting the scene as he keeps looking back and forth between Nezuko and the people, and like he's doing, like, he's making the sounds where it's just guttural sounds coming out of his throat. Wonderful. The voice acting there, great, because his eyes are wide, he's choking, he doesn't know what to do, and he's just looking back and forth, and Nezuko is burning in his arms. And then Nezuko, knowing her brother, kicks him right off of her, and you get this beautiful slow-mo shot of Tanjiro flying through the air, just looking in disbelief at Nezuko as she's just sacrificed herself, being like, go save those people. You wouldn't be able to live with yourself if you just try to protect me. I'm not giving you the decision. Go. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this is great, and there is no way they're committing to it. Like, the entire time I'm watching it, I'm like,
you're about to get blue balled.
Yeah,
something's gonna happen.
Well, because, like, and this is the part where it's like, if you have any brains whatsoever, you're just like, of course she's not gonna fucking die, because then what would they do with Tanjiro? Because again, his entire goal is to save her. And then this is what
a whole character change, like I said. Again, if he went fucking ham after this, imagine him losing his mind in anger. If they went down that direction,
that would be
like fucking losing it.
That would be incredible. There was no way they would ever do that. But so, you know, he saves the people, and after killing the emotions demon, finally, he's just like, and Nezuko's lost. Like, Nezuko is gone. She's burned away into ash, and then of course you get the shot of like someone walking towards Tanjiro, and you're like, it's Nezuko, and of course it's Nezuko, and then she says, thank goodness. You know, the rest of the episode you hear thank goodness about 80,000 more times, and it started really grating on me. But anyway, of course Nezuko is fine, and all of us, it's like, oh no, yeah, she can just withstand the sun. And you're like, alright, I get, yeah, of course you can. And then you have another hard cut to a completely different thing. It's like, oh, now we're with Muzan, and Muzan is just like, oh, finally, a demon who can withstand the sun. This goal that I've totally been working towards for the entirety of this show, but it's never been brought up before until this very moment. Totally a thing. Totally happened. Like, I'm very happy. And then you get Muzan's backstory, and you're just like, what? Why now? And it's like, because, well, we need to contextualize and possibly retcon the fact that he needed to create a demon all this time who can withstand the sun. And then he needs to consume that demon so that way he can also withstand the sun and be like the perfect being. He's full meddling this shit, essentially. He's just father. He wants to be the perfect being and like kill God. He doesn't want to kill God, as far as I know.
I think he wants to kill God.
He probably wants to kill God.
They'll bring that in season 5.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just retcon that in as like another like little B-side story that we'll get a flashback, and then it'll be like,
his struggling life. He felt like, I got to get back against God. Yeah, his backstory, honestly, if I'm being perfectly honest, makes no sense to me at all. I have no clue what happened.
Really?
Dude, how did he turn into a demon?
It was the medicine.
No,
Joe,
that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, but Joe, did you consider this? It's Captain America again.
No. The history, like Attack on Titan, oh god, they did it so good, Joe. They explained it so well.
Don't begin comparing the two. We will not stop.
No,
we'll be here for hours.
Right? You know what I'm talking about. That was explained so well, the origin.
Yeah.
Origin of this was like, yeah, he gave me some funky medicine. It wasn't working for like months, so I killed him, and then boom, I turned into a goddamn demon. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
This is the origin of the first demon.
That's the fucking origin. And then he just is like, yeah, I found out I liked eating people, and I kept doing it. I'm like, oh my fucking Michael Jackson looking ass.
He does look like
Joe,
Michael
how'd
Jackson.
you get me talking like this?
I don't know, but it's very funny seeing how you're on this tirade. Real quick though, I do want to circle back. You got Michael Jackson, I got Captain America. I want to circle back around to the Captain America thing. Frail little boy, right? I mean, I don't think Muzan is a boy at that point, but like frail person, doctor comes in. They're the only person that has the knowledge of this like medicine that it's like an experimental thing they're gonna give to this person to try and make them stronger. They do that. That person, that doctor, gets killed. So they can't ever make it again. So they're the only person with their unique abilities in the world. And you're just like, all right, well, I guess that's fine then. I guess they're the only person who can do it. Whatever.
Yeah, that explanation, that sucked. But I got one last point I want to talk about. Just one more thing, because we pretty much have hit everything. Although not introduced that well and never really, again, they leave you really confused. Genya, okay, apparently has demon powers because he eats demon flesh. Now that, to me, that idea, that story, fucking cool. But the way they do it, he just comes in out of nowhere looking crazy different. Tanjiro's like, oh, he looks different. He's powerful. And you're like, are they not going to explain this? And for like 4 to 5 episodes, they just don't. He's just like this half demon, half human thing, and you're just rolling with it. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then finally he's like, oh, if I eat the flesh of a demon, I'm like, oh, wow. That was a little late. Okay. Like, oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. The more we talk about this arc, the more I realize that there are more characters and more things that I don't like even remember that much because they're just touched upon and they don't actually give greater context or delve like deeper into any of like the characters or their traits or powers or things like that. Even the villains, dude, like the 2 Kizuki that we get in this season, I know jack shit about the Vase guy, and to be honest, I don't want to know any more about him. He's not interesting to me at all. The most interesting thing about him was when he was slashing at the swordsmith guy who was sharpening Tanjiro's new sword, and like he didn't move at all, and I was like, that's kind of fun. I like that. That's a nice little thing. There's another thing. Put 2 on the board. 2 things I like: the intro and that scene.
Okay. Another thing I want to not necessarily shit on, but we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
So apparently Tanjiro has mastered lightning breathing or whatever the fuck it is, right? Dude, they're making him fucking the Avatar. He's gonna learn all the goddamn elements and save us from the Fire Nation, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. When that happened, I was so checked out at that point. I was just like, sure. Like, again, because this is all in the final episode.
Why not? Let's just go ahead.
Might as well. Give him beast breathing too.
Nezuko's gonna end up being able to tolerate the sun. Yeah, you can learn freaking lightning breathing.
Exactly. Nothing in this arc really feels earned. It all feels very much.
He's been working hard. He's gone through his training arcs. We're good with that. But yeah, this arc,
No, it's real bad. He's just like, all right, I'll just do lightning breathing. It's like, okay, I guess he can do lightning breathing. So he's got lightning, he's got water, he's got flame. He'll probably do beast in a little bit because of Inosuke. Oh, that's Borgai's name. Off the top of the dome, it came back to me. Anyway, I keep forgetting because I think about all the different characters in this arc, and I think to myself, I'm like, oh, we didn't talk about these. And I'm like, oh wait, no, those characters are all. I was thinking about the 4 initial emotions as the demons, and I was like, we didn't talk about them, and I'm like, do we really need to? No. One has a staff.
God, no.
One
Please,
does a scream. One one has a leaf. That was the other thing, and yeah, that's about it. It makes sense if you've seen the show. It doesn't matter. They all combine to form like the little boy who's also buff as hell and has the dragons, which are way cooler than literally any other individual ability that guy has. I don't understand why they had so many friggin' gimmicks. It's so dumb. I hate it.
All right. What do you give it out of 10?
Oh, Christ. Season 1, the first 25 episodes, 5. Mugen Train, 6. Entertainment District, also 6. This one, like a 4.5.
Okay. I'm gonna go 6.675. Just pretty much just one up from all you from the most part.
Yeah. So, terribly sorry if you like Demon Slayer a whole lot, and I just absolutely shat all over your darling. But you know, this is just the opinions of 2 Joes, and really it's just my opinion because I'm the begrudged watcher of the show. I hope you enjoyed it more than me. Sincerely, I do. But yeah, you know, maybe like a better written show. Anyway, with that being said, everyone, always remember, we'll love you, we'll leave you, and goodbye.